My name is Christian Levan B. Advincula. I recently graduated a 1-year practical ministry from Baptist Bible College Asia and currently taking first year and second year subjects in CBSIS. Today, I'll be sharing to you my quick life testimony. I was born in a dysfunctional family. My parents were married out of wedlock in their teenage years. Although we had resources enough to sustain a middle class lifestyle, my parents always fought and broke up and had difficulty in raising me and my sister. By the time I was in first year high school, they have finally called it quits. This was also the time that I had friends who taught me how to smoke, drink, party, and do drugs. My teenage years up to my early 20s were rough. I involved myself in many meaningless pursuits in the heavy metal rock scene, illegal activities, and my substance abuse have gone worse. I've involved myself in many relationships that ended up in heartaches and pain. During this time, to cope up with the hurts of my life, I decided to take life seriously and studied culinary arts, and by age 21, I graduated as a chef. However, all was not well. During these years, I was also involved in the hip-hop scene, which gave me some sort of pride and a sense of privilege that led me further into the life of premarital sex, drugs, and more serious illegal activities, which encompassed my lifestyle. There was literally never a time when I was not intoxicated by either drugs or alcohol. On February 27, 2013, I was caught through an entrapment operation in Cubao, Quezon City by the Pasig Eastern Police District for selling illegal firearms and ammunitions during the elections. Because of this, I was charged 6 years in imprisonment. While I was in jail, I never understood why the things that I did were considered wrong and unacceptable by the society. Now I have come to understand that this is the result of the depravity of my nature. But during my detention in county jail for 2 weeks, while awaiting for my transfer to the city jail, a family friend from my mother's Bible study group reminded me of the gospel that I once heard. He gave me a Bible and a gospel tract and left. When the days for my transfer drew near, I cleaned and cooked for the police officers in the police station, and from time to time, I read my Bible and studied the gospel. On one of those days, as I was reading the gospel tract and trying to talk to God, asking Him why I was wrong in what I did, and simply pouring my thoughts on God, I felt a supernatural grace that touched my innermost being and mind, and I clearly understood what the gospel meant and what Jesus stood for. It's as if God gave me the greatest logical argument that I could never refute as untrue or fallacious. It's as if the covering from my eyes that kept me from seeing how wrong I was unveiled, and I saw the light of God in Christ. And I understood that God never left me, that He has always been there for me, especially now that I've made a mess of my life. And that His prevenient grace has always been working in my life and is working in me at that moment to lead me to that one final conclusion of surrendering to Him. Now, while I was experiencing this supernatural realization, I began to say to myself, if God loved a sinner like me, then there's no other way to live life but to love. And at that moment, I knew I was set free, and I felt like I have been changed in an instant. After a few days of further enjoying my new life with God by reading my Bible inside the detention cell, I was allowed to post bail before I was transferred to the city jail and deal with my 2 pending criminal cases while working in a telecommunications company. By the grace of God, my 2 criminal cases were dismissed, and miraculously, I have no criminal record and was allowed to continue on with a corporate career in the financial industry. In the year 2017, I was convicted to share the gospel to a couple of cigarette vendors along the sidewalk of Kalayaan Avenue between Makati and BGC. In the span of 3 years that I have personally ministered in the community of Barangay Pitogo, I have helped people meet Christ through serving in this ministry. In this ministry, I also met my once ministry partner, who is now my wife and the mother of our 3-month baby daughter. This simple conviction of gospel sharing, only by the grace of God and loving kindness, has now become a small independent community church to where I serve full-time as a teacher elder since 2019. My life journey has never been easy, mainly because I always resisted God. And to be honest, challenges remain, especially now that I am a Christian, especially now that I am a husband, especially now that I am a father, especially now that I am an elder teacher and also as a seminary student. But the difference is, I now know who holds me and that now my life has a purpose and value. And as God has always been true and faithful, so I persevere with that confidence for His cause, that whatever happens, God will remain true to His unchanging character. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 16 tells us, "Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need." I am Christian Levan B. Advincula, a sinner saved by grace, now serving as a soldier of Christ. To God be all the glory.